Hello! So it's been a little while between the last video of this series I did and this video, so apologies if I repeat anything or whatever, but I have made some notes about what I've changed in the levels in between. So let me just have a look at my notes here. So what I've changed on this level, so I've added the Diamond Spirits cages and rock column to the top of level D, which is this one here. As you can see, I've added this little thing, so when you come into this area you have to deal with this load of rocks as to not block up this safe here, and I'll figure out what the puzzle is in here that you have to figure out. But then you get these spirits out and run into this cage, and then run to this cage, come over here, do something over here, because I haven't fiddled this bit out yet, and then come into here, and then you can come back out and do get the key and whatever else. Spoilers. But yeah, you can see you're going to have to come into this area and come back into this area after you've got the key. So there's possibly something I can add to here. Maybe I want to put in a few, you know, things like this just to make this area look a little more interesting. Maybe there's a better arrangement of things, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just kind of having a bit of a think here. Maybe something along these lines to give it a bit of a interesting look, and something like this here just to break it up a bit. But yeah, I wasn't just showing the differences, not editing at the moment. So let's go on to the next one that I've made some changes on. This one I have added skulls. You can probably see some skulls. And safes to the side of level E. There are some safes in here, being there. And where are we? And the transporter. There is a transporter here. Oh yeah, the transporter's here. I think that's the transporter that leads you into here, so you can push this down eventually. And obviously if you push anything down to the side here, it'll just roll and block off this area here, so you can't go through. So that's kind of encouraging you not to push these things off the wrong way, just in case there's something you could do to mess up the level that way. Then what I've got, G, overshot. Here we go. G, I've moved the spirit because otherwise you wouldn't have needed to push the boulder through the gap. Here, I think the spirit was up here last time, along here, and so I've moved it into the middle so that when you actually have to push this boulder through here. I think I've got this kind of set up incorrectly anyway. I think this needs to be a bit higher up like this so you can actually do this. And not everything's been fully figured out so far, but okay, so when you push it through here, the boulder that you push through connects it to the outside. There has to be some way that you can't then push this to connect this, and maybe that's just as easy as doing something. Yeah, it's not as easy, but perhaps something like that, so that you can't just push. Yeah, that should work, I think. So that is what I've done there. And level H, this was pretty much done, but I had to remove some of the fungus, I think either from here or from here, because there wasn't a route through that you could take safely without uncorking the fungus. I don't know, unblocking, whatever, and letting it run wild whilst you try to complete the level, potentially ending with lots of fungus everywhere. So, what I want to do something to this level. I want to add something into this area. Now I've made a note that I wanted maybe a boulder, diamond and dirt puzzle. So, what can you do? If you don't know what to do when you're creating a puzzle, just, add a few things. Something will emerge from this. It's not really, well, it is random placement, but it's not. That's impossible now. So let's do something else. This is actually kind of an interesting thing, because you can come back up later. See, just randomly placing things and you get like interesting ideas happening. So when you come back in here later, you can come back and get these diamonds, and maybe why not put a safe in here as well, just for good measure. And then obviously these things aren't just going to be floating around. We can put in some things like, ooh, get rid of the boulder, didn't want to do that. Just put in a bit of dirt, and then put in some diamonds, maybe this. And at the moment this is going to be fairly trivial, I think, to complete, but the idea is just to set some things down, have a play through it, look and see what I think might want to be added to this, see if there's anything interesting that can be done, and then alter some things. As I said, not to make it the most difficult that I can, because that's always a trap that I tend to fall into, but make it a little bit more interesting than just like a trivial walkthrough, because here you could just come down here through the middle and go to the you're not a spirit, you're a Repton. Go to the transport here instead. So yeah, maybe there's something else. Maybe I want to put something like this here to make it a little bit more interesting, and then this here, and then maybe this here. So I haven't actually played through the level, but I've like mentally kind of played through it a bit, so that now I know that this is going to make it just a little bit more challenging to get through, but not really. So maybe there's something else that can be done just to make it a little bit more interesting, like this here. Now you can't just come straight through here because you'll get a boulder on your head, so you have to find some way to get it out of the way and then get underneath without everything rolling back down that way. And yeah, I think I'll leave it this way at the moment, just because now trying to mentally think through, and you say, well, that ball will fall there, that one will fall there, these diamonds will still be available, those ones will be taken, and trying to keep that all in your head, it's a lot of information. So we're not doing that here. I kind of want you to come up through here and then just let the spirits through the cages here. So I don't want anything really too special happening up here. So I think what I kind of want to do is just kind of fence off an area really, and then make it so that you go through there once you've collected the key. It gives you more of a reason to come back to this area, because if there was just this one safe in this area, then you'd be like, oh, just have to go all the way around just to pick up one diamond, and then all the way back the other way. And this at least gives you something interesting to do when you're going back that way. Here, not so much, but you can't please everyone all the time, can you? I kind of had a thought. I don't know if I'll actually do it because I think I'm running out of transporters here. But what I could have done, I put a safe, where these diamonds are instead, and put a transporter in the middle there. So when you came back through, you'd go through the transporter and then maybe transport into this area, then get out. And there's lots of different things that you could do. But I think I'll just kind of leave it as this at the moment. Give it a play test. Think of what I can put into this area. I'm not quite sure what I want to do with this area really at the moment, because obviously you've got to make sure not to drop things down. Maybe make it so that there's some kind of bucket. Not that I have a fixation on buckets or anything like that. No, this whole level involves buckets, so why not have a bucket made out of skulls? Just for the fun of it. And then maybe that's the way that you. Yeah, because if you drop too many down the middle here, it's going to block up this way anyway, or roll down over here. This is another thing I'm just going to have to play through to see how it exactly works. Let me just, for a thing, I'll put a time capsule. This is not to be a time capsule or whatever, this is just to be, there is a collectible thing in here. Is that a good idea to put a collectible thing in there, or is that not a good idea at all? Just to remind me to look into that. So yeah, we've kind of filled this out a bit. This is puzzle in this area needs a little bit of thinking of at the moment, but maybe it's not going to be a puzzle. Maybe what I can do is put a couple of cages up here, and obviously we don't want the spirits that are in there going into those cages, so we can just block that off here. And then the spirits that need to go in those cages, once we've collected... this is actually going to be causing problems, because then these spirits might be able to come down here and... yeah, I'll have to think that one over. I mean, it's a good idea. If I didn't have the little cage puzzle at the bottom, that might have been a thing that I could have done. But I don't want to mess up this, because I haven't thought fully through it as to what would be the best thing. But yeah, they could come out afterwards and then just basically ruin this puzzle here, which obviously I don't want them doing. So yeah, maybe some different puzzle for this area here. Maybe involving some fungus. Maybe it's not a puzzle. Maybe it's just a place that's designed to scare you a little bit, like this. And since I have a gap there, I'll put a boulder in there, and why not put a boulder in there and put one in the bottom just for good measure. And so that's an interesting little area. Hopefully that doesn't claim too many lives. But yeah, so I've got a general idea of this area. As I said, it needs a playthrough to see what feels good, what actually works, and all that. But otherwise, that's fairly good. So I think I'll leave that as it is at the moment, and I'll see you next time.